All right, so I'm going to talk about one word. We focus on the rest of the year. And it's a word I think is important. Right? People talk about from two different coaches recently. The word is sacrifice. What's sacrifice mean?
You want to give up something, sacrifice something, take away from what you might like to do.
What else?
Time with people.
You have to give up something to gain something.
There we go. You got to do up something to gain something, right? Very simple. The one definition here is what is it you want and what is it you're willing to pay for, right? So what is it I actually want? What is it I'm willing to pay for? A lot of people want stuff, but the problem is what? They don't want to pay for it. And so most of the time, the currency, I'll write this is what we go for. The success isn't complicated. It's just expensive, right? Success isn't complicated. It's just expensive. What does that mean? And the currency equals sacrifice. I'll take it a little bit deeper, but it's very important to look at it. Alex, I'm always some of this recent. My coach talked about recently. Okay, there's a pattern here, right? Which I typically see pattern like that. I want to kind of talk about it, teach about it because it means relevant. It talks about, hey, look, you want to be top 1%. What does that mean?
You gotta sacrifice.
Look at the math, though.
You have to do it 99%.
I gotta do what 99 other people are not willing to do. So there's 100 people looking to do something that want to be successful in real estate. I gotta do what 9 out of 100 aren't willing to do. Not they can't do, so they're not willing to do, right? And so you talk about being the 0.001%, which is how we are as a team, right? You gotta look at what 999 out of 1,000 aren't willing to do, not just once, but every time. Does that make sense? You start looking at this, like, okay, where's the average? Average is what, like 60, 80%. You get average on a test, which is what, 70%? You guys remember that from high school? So I want to get above average, which you know, like the very top part, which is 95 to 100. And so I do what 95, 100 people aren't willing to do. And as you start to look at it, simple math to look at it. So if I'm not willing to sacrifice, I'm not willing to succeed. It's very important to look at. If you're not willing to pay the price for success, it doesn't come from talent, right? Success doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from luck. It comes, there's a great quote here. Success comes from the ability to trade, write this down, to trade comfort, ease, and excuses for skill, discipline, and action. For skill, discipline, and action. What does that mean?
Shift from those things that you were comfortable with, like your things that you're used to doing, to something that's maybe a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, so for us, comfort's like, hey, doing what I like to do in a presentation, right? Comfort is doing what's easy. Comfort's like me not going too deep, not going too painful, right? Me doing the things that I enjoy doing versus what is uncomfortable to do. And so nothing grows without, especially in this market here right now, right? You gotta be willing to do things that are very uncomfortable to make it work. And so it's just very important to look at it. So you look at Kobe Bryant, by example, with him, we talked this before. He walked in summer leagues as a rookie, scored like 2 points total the entire time. Went back, doubled down, worked his ass off like crazy every single morning, 6 a.m. all the way to like 12 a.m. And I came back and dominated. I think he won MVP a couple years later, right? I went to the whole story previously, I don't know, a couple months ago or a year ago. Elon Musk, anybody know the Elon Musk example, 2008? Tesla's 30 days of bankruptcy. That was December 2008, they're running money. Obviously, the market had crashed and entirely sold everything he owned. He moved inside Tesla, lived inside the factory, worked 60, 70-hour weeks minimum, and lived in there. To do what? To make successful that sacrifice? And obviously, had kids at the time, right? And sometimes you got to make some sacrifice for things. And it's just important to look at, but looking at what he did, he made the sacrifice. What happened?
He's successful.
Successful, right? Figure things out. Both of that, SpaceX and that they did, but that was a great example of that. Michael Jordan, all the stuff, all the greats, right? They make sacrifice. And so it's just a really reminder of that. And you know what you got to write this in. If I want to be iconic in real estate, what do I have to do?
Make sacrifices.
Make sacrifice. Why?
So you can be the top 1%.
Because most people won't make sacrifice. So the key part is, hey, it's easy because most people won't do it, which are things like what? Getting up, getting here early, right? Sticking to the schedule, making phone calls. It's all easy, simple stuff like Ryan just talked about in that previous 4 boxes that we created in 2022. Like the roadmap's there. The missing link many times is our ability to trade comfort, ease, right? And basically comfort and ease part for what? Execution, skills, right? I guess that's what they action, which is the fourth one, super important there. And so that's a key part. Make sure to do that overall. And so here's one thing: I can't get great and be comfortable at the same time. And one thing you guys think about: you're not here to be average, right? You're here to be one of the greats. And so part of that overall, I want to give you guys an exercise. Number one, look back to what I want. What's your target for the next 12 months? What I want in 2026 from a business standpoint. So we'll talk target. This is a quick one for this first part. Target 2026. All right, what's my main goal from number wise? Sales, units, whatever, like a realistic target. Most of you guys already have a lot of that I talked about before. Step 2, the second part. We'll talk about sacrifice audit. Sacrifice audit. Write this down. And obviously look at it as here's what I want, right? But overall, what do I need to stop doing? 2026, right? Coming up, what do I need to stop doing? Now, I'm going to take time, a few minutes after today's meeting to go back through this. Second thing, what do I need to start doing? For a lot of us, as this market has shifted and consumers' behavior has shifted, the dollar count no longer is as relevant, right? Now it needs to be focused on what? Connections, right? Morgan, I was looking at the trade this morning. He's like, hey, market's really good, I make 10 connects. Market's really hard, I make 20 connects. That's it. That's all the difference is. That's all it is, right? But we overcomplicate it because the market's not good, the market's not bad. The market takes what the market takes. And so for us to make sure we have adjustment, that maybe more sacrifice, maybe less sacrifice, but if I do 20 connects a day, that's all that many people, guess what eventually happens?
Success.
I start selling stuff. I start signing people. They start buying stuff, right? Obviously, I work out my other pieces in the meantime. It makes a big difference. And here's one thing. What must I sacrifice daily based on that goal? Could be sleep, could be comfort, could be, in many cases, just comfort, right? People are scared to make phone calls. They're scared to stay consistent. And maybe I may sacrifice this need for inconsistency, right? Whatever it may be. But most of the time, it's just a need for comfort. So that third piece here of that audit is what must I sacrifice daily based upon that goal? Fourth piece, what is it that I'm holding on to that is keeping me average, right? What is it internally that I'm holding on to that's keeping me as average? Number three, price tag declaration, supportive. I say I want blank in 2026. It's the same. I say I want blank in 2026. So I want to sell 30 houses, 50 houses, 60 houses, whatever it is. And I'm willing to sacrifice blank to earn it. Yep, 1 second. So I blank Sloan, write your name, right? I blank your name. Say I want to blank in 2026. And I'm willing to sacrifice blank to earn it. That's important because we want to turn this into a daily declaration. We'll talk about build this in a few minutes, just about some affirmations and mindset and self-talk and how these things work. We're going to do that in part 2, but it makes a big difference here with that. And the daily affirmation, right, daily declaration becomes I, Blake Sloan, am willing to sacrifice blank in order for me to be able to blank. That's it. Emotion, you know what it is. Most times it's going to be comfort, right? Or avoidance of a daily schedule, or consistency in showing up, or you know what it is in most cases, right? It's something very, very simple that's not usually that deep. It's typically very tactical in terms of whatever it may be. Most time it comes to a comfort zone, which would be more emotional thing. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But it's important to understand, hey, look, whatever it is I want, right, for me not to, and here's the crazy part. Like, there's 2 types of pain here. So I want to get to this 95% plus area here. Let's say 99%, right? This is where I got to do a lot of extra work, right? With me on this? Is that painful? Is that uncomfortable?
Of course.
Right? It sucks. But what happens is, what do I have here?
Separation.
A reward, right? Problem here, what's problem being average?
Everybody that's comfortable with more reward.
It sucks, right? No, I'm average, just like everybody else. I don't know about you guys, but as an achiever, guess what? That's us, right? Why? Because average tend to do what? They struggle. Average people have a lot of money. Look at average income for Horry County, South Carolina, is a lot of money. No, it's not, right? It's barely making it. It's barely surviving. It's a lot of pain, a lot of worry, a lot of understanding, a lot of where's my next check coming from, right? So there's a lot of pain associated with this. The difference is I don't control this pain. This pain's on my terms. This pain's where I'm able to separate myself and get a reward for my pain. At least here, I'm just in constant cycle of what? Pain, disappointment. Pain, disappointment, pain, disappointment. So I'm going to have to make a sacrifice either way. One's going to be on my terms, one's going to be on the universe terms. Does that make sense? And so there's going to be a pain threshold either way. This one has a little bit more pain in the front end. Let's say it's power reluctance. I'm scared to make phone calls. It's very uncomfortable, right? Painful. With me on this? But as I start making calls for 2 weeks, what happens? They're not speaking. But now in the vacuum, I get reward. Right? What if I just avoid the calls and stay average and just try to email and do basic stuff and don't really have any sales? What happens? It's very, very painful, right? So now waking up, middle of the night, worried about life and where money's coming from, the holidays and all these things. And so that's a lot worse pain for a long time. We're here, it's a short-term pain I can push through because I control the outcome. But the only way I control that is by doing what? Sacrifice. That can be if say my conversion's not great on presentation. What I gotta do? Sacrifice, which would be my time that I have in my free time to do what? Get better role play practice. Get better role play practice. Study all the stuff. Study Jerry Minor. Study Jordan Belfer. Study Grant Cardone. Whatever it is, I feel like I need that. And the only way for me to get out of this is to do what?
Massive amount of work.
Which would be what? Sacrifice.
Embrace the suck.
And so everybody's gonna have it. For some, it may be, hey, just my presentation skills. For some, it may be phone skills. For some, it may be, right, whatever it is, you know what it is. And so I want everybody to say, look, for 2026, I want you right here to have the plan. This is where the plan is, right? What's my plan right here to go in 2026 to have that? It could be listing pricing. It could be listing price reductions. It could be any of these things. We gotta make sure we're getting dialed in. It could be conversion on the front end. So you guys know what it is. You just gotta figure out what it is. And so I want you to have that through some just awareness. That really help you in that first part there, right? Which makes a big difference. Question on that. All right, teach you more.